All right. First of all, been out of the loop again. My fucking phone screen just turned black out of nowhere, and then even though I have insurance, of course, they made me jump through 1,000 hoops to get a new phone, so I didn't have a phone for like almost 2 weeks. I don't always do these post-fight things, but I gotta admit, so Paulie Malignaggi is somebody, him, Andre Ward, they've always been my favorite boxing analysts ever since, they stopped fighting or started doing, whether it was commentating on fights or whether it was shit on their YouTube page, whatever the case was. They've always been two of my favorite guys. Paulie Malignaggi I know a little bit more personally. I've never met Andre Ward. I don't want to come across like Paulie Malignaggi's my boy. I don't have like his phone number or anything like that, but if I seen him, we would say what up. He used to work my friend's little brother's corner. Close friends with the family and stuff like that. I've met Paulie on many occasions. Me and Paulie not only tend to agree on the very high majority of stuff, but incidentally, me and him make very similar videos sometimes. Like sometimes I'll make a video and I might schedule it to post in 2 days or something, or maybe I made the video and I'm out. I had to drive my kids somewhere or something, and while I'm waiting in the parking lot, I go on YouTube and I see Paulie has a video and I watch it and I listen to it and I'm like, it's exactly what I was saying in my shit. I agree with everything he's saying. I gotta say, I strongly disagree with Paulie's take on this Jake Paul fight, and I didn't get on here to knock Paulie. I was gonna do this video anyway, but being that in the interim of me not having a phone, I seen Paulie's video, and this probably being one of the only times I can ever remember disagreeing with Paulie. He basically was ripping into Jake, and, this was embarrassing. He did nothing but run around for 6 rounds or whatever the case was. Here's my thing, bro, and I don't say this to be a dick. I really don't. I don't... I don't know what you guys expected to happen. I really don't. And I said this in the pre-fight video. And again, this is not to defend Jake. That fight was horrible. The fight was horrible. But the fight was always going to be horrible. I don't understand. You have an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time unified heavyweight champion, 6'6", 250 pounds, fighting against a kid with no amateur experience whatsoever. Hardly any real... Okay, he's got 12 pro fights. How many boxers has he fought, bro? Aside from Anthony Joshua, how many boxers has he fought? I think 2, right? He fought Tommy Fury and whatever that other dude's name was, like Austin something. Not heavyweights, not Olympic gold medalists, not... You understand what I'm saying? Not of the same caliber. So, the same way that when Jake Paul... he knocks out Nate Robinson and then he goes and fights Ben Askren. That was never a fucking fair fight. That guy's a fucking wrestler. That guy can't... You understand what I'm saying? So, and it kept happening. I told you guys, there was a couple of fights of his that I just simply didn't cover. I was sick and tired of it. I was sick. Oh, he fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Again, it's just a whole bunch of nonsense. I got so sick and tired of what was going on with him that I just stopped watching it. I stopped making videos on it until he decided he was going to fight Anthony Joshua. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. That fight was more than I expected it to be. Because when this fight was announced, I genuinely, in my head, I was like, I don't think this is real. Like, I think the thing with Gervonta Davis, this was just my opinion. I'm not saying this is what happened. In my head, this was what happened. He set up the thing with Gervonta Davis. Everybody's sick and tired of his shit. It wasn't going to sell. It wasn't getting the same reactions it was getting as some of his previous shit. And he decided, hey, this is not going to work. And Tank had whatever he had going on with, legal issues and yada, yada, yada. I mean, that fight was pure garbage anyway. And I honestly thought there was a strong chance that this whole entire Anthony Joshua thing was... I don't know if I want to call it a joke because I'm not 100% sure if that's the right word to use, but I thought it was just kind of like a publicity stunt. Like, I thought he was doing it to get people back into talking about him, and then was going to pull out, you know, with something. Anthony Joshua got injured in training, or I got injured in training, or whatever. I really didn't think they were going to really go in there and fight until the fight got really close. And then I was like, is this real? Like, they're not wearing 16-ounce gloves. They're not fighting minute-and-a-half rounds. They're not fighting 4 rounds. Joshua doesn't have to weigh under 200 pounds. He doesn't have to, you know, not be 6'6". Like, in my head, I was just like, man, if this kid really... You guys got to understand that I don't know how long you guys have been following me or watching me for. I'm sure the answer is different for everybody. I did the same thing as Jake Paul 15 years ago. I started, people would ask, oh, I want to box you. Okay, cool, come box me. We'll videotape it. It started off with hockey helmets because I think I only had 1 pair of boxing gloves in the beginning and no headgear and shit. And then we got another pair of boxing gloves, and then we eventually got headgear. And, you know, after random people started, you know, I want to box you and showing up and shit, I was like, yo, we're going to have to be a little bit more serious with this, where we're going to have to do like some weight classes or something. We only had 3. We had under 165, 165 to 199, and 200 and up. You know, lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight. That was all we had. We only had like whatever it was, 10 people, 15 people in the league. But again, I never intended for any of that to happen, and I never was trying to make money off of any of it. He basically did the same exact thing as me, only he took it to a way, way, way fucking higher level. Now, I'm not saying if I was trying to do that I would have succeeded. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just simply saying I had no goals or intentions of anything. Not only was I not trying to make money or not necessarily become famous, but I never had intentions of making a boxing league. People just kept, it was my wife's cousin, he started, oh, fuck you up. We were drinking one night, and I said, bro, I got a pair of gloves in the car right now. Like, don't even start with me. It was all in good fun and shit, but... That's how it started, and I videotaped it, and I posted it, and somebody commented, I want a shot, I want to box this one, I want to box you, and that's just me, bro. Cool, come. We get another pair of gloves. You can come box me whenever the fuck you want, bro. So, it was never my intention to take anything, you know, to that level or like that in any way, shape, or form. But I have to give him credit for what he was able to do just for, you know, the promotion company and his brand and shit like that. I'm not a hater, bro. I might dislike you. I might not like what you're doing. I might have a lot of negative shit to say about you. But I'm never going to just say some hateful shit to say some hateful shit. If I think you suck at boxing, I'll be like, I think you suck at boxing, but I wish you nothing but the best. Or you'd fuck me up. You suck at boxing, but, you know, you're not going to beat any boxers, but you'd fuck me up. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Or hey, you know, he's doing a good thing for himself. He's making a lot of money. I don't hate him. I don't ever want to see nobody like struggling and shit like that. So if he was able to make a name and make money off of it, good for him. Whether I support that or not, even if I hate it and I don't watch his fights, let him do what he's going to do. If people are going to keep paying for this shit, then more power to him. You know, I might not like it, but whatever. So I can't wrap my head around what anyone thought they were gonna fucking see in this fight. Like, oh, he ran away. Bro, I'm not saying I knew he was gonna run away, because I was looking to bet the under before the fight started, but when I saw it was like 2.5 or 3.5 rounds or whatever it was, I was like, fuck that, because there's a chance that Jay comes out and runs around, or there's a chance that there's some unwritten thing in this, you know, where he can't knock him out or whatever. And I just didn't even want to risk my money on some shit that I really wasn't 100% sure that they were really going to go out there and fight. Now, once this might sound ridiculous, but I'm just being honest with you. Once Jake started running around, that's when I knew the shit was real. That's when I was like, okay, there's not a clause in here where he can't do this. Jake he talked a lot of shit, and I give Jake a ton of credit. Anybody could fucking say, I'll get in the fucking ring for $50 million with Anthony Joshua. I'll get my jaw broken for $50 million. You might be telling the truth. You might not. Fact of the matter is, Jake Paul didn't need to get in the ring with Anthony Joshua to make $50 million. He has a promotion company. He has a fucking deodorant brand. He has a drink. His brother's in whatever it is, the WWE. He could have fought another old retired UFC fighter or whatever. There are so many things. This kid is not struggling to make money. He did not have to get in the ring and fight Anthony Joshua. He did not. And I don't care whether you hate him or you call him whatever you call him. Most people in his position would not have had the balls. Oh, but he ran away. Bro, he's still in a fucking 20 by 20 or 22 by 22, whatever it was, square with a fucking killer, an Olympic gold medalist who's been training his whole life to break people's fucking faces in a tactical way, two-time unified heavyweight champion, whatever it is, 5 or 6 inches taller than Jake, outweighs Jake by 30 pounds, 40 pounds, whatever the fuck it is. So the same way Jake stacked the deck against most other people, it was kind of stacked against him in this fight. So when he started running, I was like, oh shit, this is real. Like Jake knows that he better not let this motherfucker hit him. You know what I'm saying? Even if Jake is tough, you better not let this motherfucker hit you, bro, because it's going to be trouble. So listen, again, I want to be clear. The fight was horrible. And I said it multiple times watching it. You know, me and my kids were watching, and I said, this is fucking horrible. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, bro, look, he's just running around, and he just keeps grabbing him and falling, and like, what the fuck is going on, right? But I will say, here's one thing that I feel like I differ from a lot of the people that are bitching about what happened. A lot of people seem to think that Jake Paul had no intentions on winning that fight, and I completely disagree. I think Jake Paul had intentions on winning. I don't think Jake Paul had any intentions on outboxing Anthony Joshua or winning any rounds in that fight. What I saw, what I thought was going on, and there were a couple of moments that confirmed this, I said, and this isn't to say that Jake wasn't scared. I'm not saying Jake wasn't scared. Jake had every fucking right to be scared, okay? But what I thought was happening was Jake wanted to just run around and not engage and immediately give the illusion to Anthony Joshua. And again, I use this word illusion loosely because he might have actually really been scared. He might not have been. I don't know. Only Jake knows that. But I think he wanted to give, I'm going to change the illusion to impression. He wanted to give the impression that he was scared and unwilling to engage. I'm not going to really throw any punches. I'll throw 2 jabs. I'll grab you. I'll run this way. I'll run that way. I'll fall on the floor, right? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bang! Right? That's really, I mean, what other way does Jake Paul have of landing a clean, deadly shot on Anthony Joshua other than lulling him to sleep and throwing a fucking haymaker out of nowhere, or just standing right in front of him and swinging while Joshua's swinging, which again is way, way, way more riskier than running around and then randomly in the 4th or 5th round just throwing a Hail Mary, hoping it hits Joshua on his chin and he goes unconscious. Now, I want you guys to think about something for a second. Because a lot of people are bitching, oh, he talked all this shit, I'm going to knock him out, this and that. It was a facade, he's a farce, he took everybody's fucking money. What would you guys have said? And this is a rhetorical question because I know what most of you would have said. Most of you would have said it was rigged and it was fake, which again, I really don't even have like the time or the mental energy to deal with the people that think these professional boxers are throwing fights and these Olympic gold medalists are throwing fights and shit. I really am not even going to spend too much time talking about that. But if you did believe that the fight was real, and Jake Paul ran around for 4 or 5 rounds, completely disengaging and looking disinterested in the fight, and then all of a sudden threw a haymaker, hit Joshua on the chin, and just shot him the fuck off, unconscious. Would you still be saying it was a farce? He made no attempt to win? He did make an attempt to win, bro, but he only had 2 chances to win. One was to fucking risk his life and to stand there toe-to-toe and just trade and hope that he landed a good one before Joshua did, which, quite frankly, the odds are not even remotely close to being in his favor for that. Or run around, stay as safe as I possibly can, and just hope that I land a Hail Mary at some point that puts this guy unconscious. He took the safer route, bro. Am I happy about that? No. It would have been great if he would have went out there and stood toe-to-toe. Whether he got knocked out or knocked Joshua out, that would have been wild. But the fact that this Disney YouTuber just got up and said, yeah, what the fuck, I'll fight you, get in the fucking ring, and got in a fucking ring with Anthony Joshua and a referee with 10-ounce gloves on and had no way out of that ring for, you know, whatever, 24 minutes or whatever. I think it was 8 rounds, right? So 24 minutes. You go stand there with Anthony Joshua in a fucking room for 24 minutes, bro. Come on, like, be realistic, right? You understand what I'm saying? So I do give him fucking credit for going in there. Like, would I go in there against Anthony Joshua? At this point in my life, nah, because I believe I have a lot of traumatic brain injuries and a lot of health injuries. But when I was in my late 20s or 30 years old, would I have gotten in there with Anthony Joshua? As dumb as this is going to sound, for $50 million, I would have, bro. I'm ballsy and crazy to the point that I'm almost retarded. I'll admit that. But I'm also broke. Right? So he's not broke. He didn't need to do that, bro. So I want to be clear. Was it a good fight? Horrific fight. Horrific fight. Do I want to see Jake Paul at heavyweight again? No. Do I want to see Jake Paul in there with another gold medalist or a unified champion? No, I don't. Do I want to see Jake Paul go in there and fight a basketball player? No. I don't give a fuck what Jake Paul does, bro. I don't give a flying fuck if he never fights again. I don't give a fuck if he goes and fights a 10-year-old girl or he fucking goes and fights Tyson Fury. To me, it's all kind of irrelevant because Jake, he is what he is, bro. He's not going to beat Tyson Fury or whoever, right? And if he does, it's going to be in the same fashion that this one went. He's going to run around the whole time, throw a Hail Mary haymaker, hope he lands one and knocks the guy unconscious. And I really don't even understand, like, what's so difficult for anybody to understand about this. Would it not have been wild? And he landed one. I want to be clear. He landed one of those. And when he landed it, I said, oh shit, like that was it. But it didn't even faze Joshua whether he saw it coming or it didn't land in the right spot, or quite frankly, Jake just doesn't have the size or the power to flatline somebody like that. Go ahead and speculate all you want. Again, I don't really care. Fact of the matter is, coming from somebody who's been in the ring with some decorated amateur champions and you know, I have friends and people like that are professional boxers and shit. I do have to give the kid credit for getting in the ring, and I do understand what he was trying to do, as poor of a fucking fight as it made it. But never, not once, for a millisecond, did I expect anything else. So, for me, that's where me and Paulie disagree. I think Paulie went to the fight understanding that Jake Paul really only had, you know, 1 or 2 chances to win, and one of those was to just go out like a madman and start swinging. And I think he was hoping that that's where it went, and this wasn't, you know, a farce and a fucking fraud. And then I think when he saw Jake running for 2, 3, 4 rounds, he got pissed. And Paulie speaks his mind, bro. Paulie always speaks his mind, and that's something I've always respected about Paulie, but I just got to disagree with him on this one. I think that Paulie's hopes and expectations kind of muddied what actually happened. Whereas for me, I had a hard time believing it was real. So when they came out and he started running and Joshua was chasing him, I was like, oh shit, this is real and he's going to get him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to get him at some point, bro. And if he doesn't, I mean, that would have been really bad. Like, that would have been the worst thing. If that would have went 8 rounds and he would have just kept grabbing him and falling for 8 rounds, I mean, that I would have said that's the worst thing I ever saw in my entire life. But Joshua did what he was supposed to do. He got the job done. He ended the fight. Did he do it when he was supposed to? No, not really. Do I think Joshua will look bad? Again, no, not really. This is something that me and Paulie do wholeheartedly agree on. It's very, 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 very difficult to stop somebody when they're just in there to survive and they're not fighting. You know, it's hard to get the right punch angle. It's hard to hit them with a shot they don't see coming. It's hard to catch them while they're swinging because, quite frankly, they're not swinging. So, again, man, I want to be clear. Jake Paul does not belong in the ring with people like that. That fight was absolutely horrible. But I give Jake all the credit in the fucking world for multiple things. For the fact that he was even able to get himself in the ring with some of these people, the amount of money that he's made, the balls that he had to get in there with a guy like that, even though he fought kind of cowardly, right? Like, but he still got in there and risked and threw some punches and got his fucking jaw broken, bro. Like, he's not a real fucking boxer. He didn't grow up in an amateur fight. He's not. This is not like his life and his mentality, bro. And speaking about Paulie's a fucking tough son of a bitch, bro. I've seen Paulie get his shit split, you know, in bare knuckle fights in his 40s, and he don't give a fuck, bro. I've seen Paulie in the Cotto fight with his jaw on his cheek, and Paulie ain't gonna stop, bro. So you gotta understand, somebody like that is operating on a certain level, but Paulie, you can't expect a Disney dude and a YouTuber, you know, to be you, bro. And I don't say that to discredit Jake, because again, I give him credit for getting in there, and not for nothing, but I mean, to take a shot like that. No, he didn't beat the count, but, you know, we've seen Joshua fold people bad with those shots, like unconscious. You know what I'm saying? So there's something there for Jake. Okay, ran around. I don't think I'd be able to run away from Joshua for 6 rounds. I can't see, even if I did not throw a single punch for 1 round, I don't think I would make it 3 minutes in a ring with Anthony Joshua. He's going to clip me at some point. So I think there was enough there from Jake that if he would fight people like Tommy Fury or people like that, you know, with lower amounts of fights that are not elite level fighters, yeah, I mean, I think those fights could be pretty good fights and entertaining. I don't know what the kid's trying to do with his life or where he's trying to go or whatever the case is. And again, I'm certainly no Jake Paul fan. Absolutely fucking horrible fight. But bro, you got a random YouTuber that just got up and got in there with an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified heavyweight champion, 6 inches taller, 30 pounds, 40 pounds weight advantage. Just got in there, got his jaw broken, and woo, went on an interview and said, you know, I tried my best. I actually thought Jake like twisted his ankle or hurt his leg at some point because he was doing some really weird shit, and that's not to make an excuse. He was getting put out no matter what. But I just give him credit. I didn't hear him say anything like that in the post-fight interview. I didn't hear him make any excuses. He just said, I'm winning at life, you know. That's why I'm not super upset. I think my jaw's broken. I went in there. I did my best. He fucked me up. Tried my best. Got my ass beat. And I'll go on with my life. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. You say he doesn't fight anybody. He signs up to fight this guy. You complain that he didn't engage enough. He gets knocked out. He doesn't make excuses. He says, I got my ass kicked. I'll be back. I'm sorry, but from a dude who's not even a fan of Jake Paul, I just don't know what anybody else wants from this kid. I really don't. So I know I talked for a while, but that's what I had to say on the matter. So peace.